what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy the balls almost here. And so yesterday, I did an exercise. So I was like, hey, I want to clear my mind completely, make it a blank slate. Think about LSU, what I expect this year, kind of what interests me, and then see what immediately popped into my head. And what immediately popped in is not surprising. Imagine this. It's the most important position in football. It's the quarterback position. But what I think is interesting about Jayden Daniels is I think he has the potential to have a massive jump, like a significant improvement. I mean, nothing like Burrow 18 and 19 because I think that's literally impossible. But I think you could be talking about something potentially drastic here. And I know that's weird to say about a fifth-year player who's already started like 7,000 games. And I could be completely wrong here. And I know many of y'all in chat will say, we know who he is. He had a good run, but he's limited. He's this or he's that. People think that he is a fully known quantity. And again, my opinion is that I disagree. But if that's how you feel, that's all well and good. But I do want to discuss the reasons why I think I disagree with that. When it comes to this idea of nature versus nurture in sports, right? Why are you successful? Is it the talent you're born with, or is it the environment you fall into? I think far too often we are guilty of putting too much stock into the nurture side of the equation. Now, certainly, obviously, Jayden Daniels has supreme natural ability, right? Look at how he can run, look at how he can throw. That's how he got to where he is, right? But I think that people also believe that his ability is also limited when it comes to things like, wanting to push the ball downfield, getting rid of the ball, all these sorts of complaints that people were upset about last year. I think what we're ignoring is just how drastically different the setting that Jayden Daniels is in now than he has been at any other point in his career. And he also had the weird, has the weird dynamic of bursting onto the scene as a freshman, right, and putting up really good numbers, only to kind of regress after that. But if you look at the chaos of Arizona State, if you look at Herm Edwards and, essentially not even knowing the mascot when he takes a job, and then just all the scandal that's coming out, like somehow Arizona State and Herm Edwards got in trouble for recruiting in 2022. Are you kidding me? Like, I didn't know the NCAA could do that anymore. I mean, I guess LSU just did vacate some wins, but even that ruling goes back 5 or 6 years, it feels like, however long it's been. But at a time when nobody gets in trouble, that ASU program found a way. They were constantly having to replace coaches. You saw when Jayden Daniels left, the players like trashing his locker. It was just a bad, chaotic environment. So you take him out of that, but then he has to go through the extreme culture shock of joining an LSU program very late into the process, getting to know new coaches, new players, new fan base, not guaranteed anything, having to earn the starting time. You all know the story. And he finds a way to do it. And out the gate, he's all right. He gets better and better and better. There's a couple games where he struggles, but on the whole, puts together if not a overwhelming season, a hyper-efficient season, right? Now, you want more explosivity, certainly, but a hyper-efficient season from Jayden Daniels, and he wins a big game like Alabama. You kind of seen some of that freshman potential realized once again. But again, he's been at this for a while. How much better can he actually get? Well, this is where the nurture starts coming. He could get the potential for him to look like a completely new player is there. When you look at the stability of the environment that Brian Kelly has created here. If you're talking about Herm Edwards or Brian Kelly as college football coaches, not NFL coaches, but if you're talking about those two as college football coaches, it's not even close in terms of the environment that he is being raised in. You got Mike Denbrock. He returns with his offensive coordinator. He enters the offseason as the number one guy. And we saw with Burrow, just how much that can affect what you do, right? When you have that confidence that I am the guy to lead this team and how it changes your approach to everything. Suddenly he's no longer having to deal with culture shock. He's no longer having to deal with creating these new relationships. So like before, like we're okay, we just talked about being kind of exhausted at the beginning of the show, right? We're human beings. We all have limited energy. We have limited resources. Before, Jayden Daniels is having to put some of that mental, physical energy into everything we just talked about. Learning to make friends with these new players, learning their timing, learning what the coaches are expecting out of him, how he works with coaches, like interpersonal dynamics, what it's like to live in Louisiana versus living out in the West, like learning all of that, resource consumption. Like later in the show, we're going to talk about how NASA just figured out how to recycle 98% of your urine into drinkable water, very drinkable, cleaner than Earth water. But so taking all of that resource waste, essentially, that Jayden, or not waste because he had to, but that's all now removed. He knows these guys. He knows the setting. He's used to the culture. So now he has like all these ample time and energy to place elsewhere. And guess what? It's so clear where you needed him to improve this last season. It's pushing the ball downfield. Sometimes making quicker decisions, being more explosive. And so you take all that energy you were having to spend elsewhere before, and now you're able to just throw it there. And you have the confidence of you're the guy. Nobody's coming for your job. You're going to be the starter and the leader of this football team. And that's it. That's an interesting mix, y'all. That's an interesting mix of positive an interesting confluence of positive factors that could lead to Jayden Daniels maybe taking that major step forward into even the Heisman conversation, of which it looked like he was potentially one day going to be able to do back when he stepped on that field as a freshman at Arizona State and kind of took the world by storm. So again, if you disagree, that's fine. I understand. But just recognize what I'm talking about here. There are some very real elements of why this thing could get not just good, not just great, but really great. Again, maybe even Heisman great. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.